Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And thank you for joining us. My name is Bob Hickey. I am your host, and I'm so glad you took the time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, when you're talking about special people, sometimes you have to talk about special purposes and things that maybe are helpful but we don't know about. And that's why I'm glad you joined us tonight, because we're going to learn about an organization called HIFA. And what they do is, well, I'm going to let them explain it best. I'm going to give you the lowdown of what it is. I'm joined by many fine people. We're going to do the introductions in a second, but this is the Heartland Institute of Financial Education, and they're a national 501c3 nonprofit organization. Their mission is to promote financial literacy across North America. Now, what does that mean? That's why I'm glad you joined us, and I'm going to ask our resident expert and leader, Dr. Dolly Amaya. Dolly, how are you doing?
Hi, thank you for having us, Bob.
Well, hello, Dolly, and it's so nice to have you with us. And maybe we could start off with asking you, what is HIFA?
Yes, well, as you said, HIFA is a nonprofit 501c3 in which we dedicate our time and our effort in educating families about college planning and what's the right path to take. And we're very excited to be here. So we thank you for providing this platform for us.
Well, absolutely, and it's great that you're here because financial planning is such a, I think the word is misunderstood because a lot of people say financial planning, but it's one of these nebulous ideas. Yeah, it's always a good idea, but I've got Social Security, and what could possibly happen because I'm young, I'm healthy, everything's fine, I've got a job, the house is going on. But there's always life event opportunities that can strike us when we least expect it, right?
That is correct, and that's why we have dedicated the time and effort to provide this financial, basically educational workshops and opportunities. We are currently at the National Campaign for Financial Literacy, and we're helping families of all walks of life basically understand their finances in a very practical and in a very simplistic way.
Interesting. So it's an educational process, but then on top of that, there's clear strategies, I'm sure, that your folks go into that can help families and individuals plan for the future.
That is correct. And college planning being one of them, because many students are currently getting into a lot of debt before they even finish. And so what's the future of those students, and how are we going to help students even be encouraged to go to college if they are already thinking of their future debt? And then many of them cannot even and would not even have a choice to get into a loan, for example. And so we are here providing them some knowledge, adding value in terms of the story that many of us have gone through. For example, in my case, I have 3 master's degrees in a doctoral degree, and I have no college debt. And so we're here because we would want to pass on those blessings on to other families as well.
Pay it forward, sure. Yes. Well, how great. So this is a super message. I can't wait to dig into this a little bit. And as you can see, I'm surrounded by a host of worthy people who are all going to speak on different things. So I'm going to start to my right, your left, and I'm going to speak to Darwin. Hello, Darwin. Nice to meet you.
Bob.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for coming all the way to Foxborough. I know you had a little bit of a drive. And,
huge traffic.
I hope it makes it worth it to share this message. So let's just start off with what is it? What is the Heartland Institute?
Well, I mean, financial literacy is a huge problem at this moment. You know, just to give a personal story, my sister had a choice of going to college for free or going to a college for $200,000, and she went for the $200,000 one. So I honestly don't even know if she'll ever be able to pay it off.
You know, that's an interesting point because a $200,000 investment in anything, you have to look at what is your return going to be. And while it may be the best education, how on earth do you pay that off?
Well, in my opinion, I don't even think it is the best education, meaning that they would have gotten the same one at the same both colleges, you know. So
really,
yeah,
that is really interesting. So We're going to touch on that more in a second. So on my left, your right, my next, and of course, Foxborough's own, Michelle Gustafson.
Right.
Michelle, a pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you
See, we
again,
shake
or
hands, and now
seeing you again.
I pass the word on to you, and now you
Right.
start talking. This is great. This is how TV works. It's phenomenal. And by the way, folks at home, we're going to give the local contact because you're the one who's really spearheading it in Foxborough and in the surrounding communities, and this is a regional thing. And you, Dr. Meyer, are with Harvard University, so this is clearly a regional, national. You said international,
That is
national,
national.
national. Fantastic. So, Michelle, your contact information that we're going to share with the folks at home. If anybody wants to learn more about HIFA, about the program, and about learning through one of your informational seminars, they can contact you at your telephone number 508-930-881, or they can email you at gfree 7676 at gmail.com. We're going to repeat that a couple more times throughout the program, so don't worry about that. So Michelle Gustafson, I guess we've already heard about this $200,000 debt,
I know.
which leads to the logical question, and this is a softball among softballs. Why is it important to plan for college education?
It's not only, that's a great question. It's not only great to plan for college education, it's even, it's more important to even than getting great grades. College tuition has gone up in the last 32 years 725%. Think about it. You know, we worry about healthcare. That's gone up in the last 32 years 350%. 700 college tuition. Think about it. $725. I mean, 27.
I was gonna say, if
I
it
mean,
was
wait a minute.
That's what it was when I went to college.
725%, I meant to say. And so we have a big problem here. And the other.
And it's also not just the brand name colleges, the ones with the Ivy League schools, the Harvards, but it's all colleges. My daughter just graduated from the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, and that was an incredible, at least in my opinion, it was a bill that was substantial. And I graduated from the same college system at UMass Boston, and it wasn't that long ago. Well, at least I don't think it's that long ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And my education was far less, and I believe it was probably the same quality education. I love the UMass system, but it's our in-state system, and still it becomes quite an expensive proposition. So you're absolutely right, and I guess that leads me to my next question to Mo Marupring, and I want you to say your last name.
So my last name is Maruping,
Thank
but
you
everyone
very
just
much.
says Mo. 'Cause it's so much easier,
No,
right?
and it is easier, and I have mad respect for the pronunciation, but I'm going to say Mo. So let's talk about what's the step. How do parents plan for this awesome burden of educating? Because that's the thing, we have a responsibility to set our children up better than we are ourselves. And I think that's a driving force for most of us parents to create a better life.
Yes.
But how do you do that in this environment of double-digit increases in tuition and, what do you say, 500 and...
It's like triple.
725
700
for tuition.
That's crazy.
Percent.
So tell me,
It
Mo,
is
what do I
crazy.
do?
So what we do with the families that we work with, right, is because just like you're saying, everyone comes to us with this inability to understand how much or how complex the actual situation is, right? And so everyone feels so overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. So the first thing we always tell families, or the first question we ask them is, how do you eat an elephant? Right? And the answer,
I don't know, Mo. How do
Right?
you even know?
So the answer that we tell
I
them
think
is,
he's asking me a question. I don't
Right,
know. Mo, how do you eat an elephant?
so you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? So no matter how complex or robust the problem is, or the college planning process is, we just take it one step at a time,
Okay.
right? And so what we tell families is we have this institution that has a very robust, very complete program that we provide to families, both families, individuals, right? So students that we pretty much, or most of the time, students that we try and navigate into the program are students from 8th grade, or the second semester in 8th grade, all the way through 12th grade.
Okay.
So that's where our flagship program is, or where most of our attention is.
Because you have to plan early. You can't just wake up your
Exactly.
senior year and say, hey,
Yeah. What do I do?
look at this bill. Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, does it?
Exactly, and so by bringing them in the program from an early start, we can actually break it down step by step. So we have what we call the college planning coaches, And these coaches are kind of like a GPS, right, in your phone or in your car's GPS, right? And so the coaches are able to take your students step by step through monthly interactions and just showing them through a few simple steps that they have to do each month or each week, depending on when they jump in the program, right? And now we can break it down bite by bite and guide them through exactly what they have to do.
Okay.
So that's the first phase of it, right? So taking that system or the program and the coaches as well to really navigate that platform.
So, and thank you for that, Mo. That's a great explanation. And it leads me to reminds me of when my wife Kathy and I were first planning for our kids. We have 2 kids, and they're now 22 and 20. My daughter's graduated. And we had gone into this, we heard a pitch for this Coverdale investment thing, and so we each took out a $500 starter. And the fees ended up being to the point where we ended up not making any money. In fact, we still haven't cashed it in. I probably shouldn't I, since I graduated?
Right? Yeah.
But they're both each worth $489 right now. So every month, whatever it makes in interest, they take it away in fees.
Yeah.
So that's no college planning. That didn't work. So what's my first step, Michael Wong?
Well, the first step is you have to look for, by the way, I have a daughter, 12 years old.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And she just took the exam and get admitted to Boston Latin School, which is one of the number one,
That's
I
of
guess,
the
in
elite
the
prep
country,
schools,
right?
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Yep. So I can share with you, as a parent out there, you have the anxiety, like what my daughter gonna do? Am I gonna put her to that school and then go to college and go to Harvard or any kind of school, and how much scholarships she can have, right? So I'm come to the parent counselor and we sit down. Seriously, we sit down, and the school have 1,500 students, okay? And I raise my hand and ask this question. I say, how many counselors out there in the school to provide the service for 1,500 students? And they say, well, that's 3. And well, how soon can I make an appointment to her to sit down and guide her to high school? I said, well, normally 3 to 6 months, you have to wait in line. So, for this kind of program, but I feel like so blessed that, thank you, Dr. Amaya, that introduced me to the program. And, I talked to Michelle because she knows, I know this is in Foxborough. My brother do a visit down the street from you, Bob,
Oh, really?
Elegant Tusness one here.
Oh, really? Our neighbors right here?
Right here, yeah. He's been
Excellent.
in the town for almost 25 years. So I told him, you know what, it's time for me, because I come down here all the time and helping out on the weekend,
Okay.
answer the phone. So I told myself, you know what, we need to do this to the town of Foxborough, because I think this is important. I think this is, I'm in that shoes that I know that, and it does help. It does help guide. And the kids, believe it or not, like my daughter turned into a teenage most. And as you know, they don't listen to you, but they will listen to someone else.
Right.
Would it be?
Wow, okay. So, well, first of all, I love that connection. So, as we're talking about connections, and so at age 12,
Yes.
you're now beginning this process and you're introduced.
Soon.
Is age 12 too late, or is it right where you want to be?
Honestly, I don't even know what grade that is. Age 12.
That would be
Age
sixth
12 will be
grade.
8th grade.
8th grade, okay.
Honestly, I mean, in 8th grade, I didn't even know what college planning was. So it might be, I think, perfect time.
But as parents, now we have that world experience, shall we say, where we're now planning. So I know that the best time to buy life insurance is when you're 17. I've heard all that, and I know that. I didn't do it, and now here I am where I am. So that said, what is the ideal time, Dr. Maya, to begin this process, to jump in, attend a seminar, and learn?
Well, it's actually at any age,
At any
to be honest.
When is it too late?
We have, I'll get to that in a minute, but we do have several opportunities to help families understand how to establish a strong financial foundation. College happened to be one of them, right? But aside from that, we're teaching families that they need to establish their financial foundation starting with themselves, right? But nothing says that, by the way, which it just happened a couple of weeks ago, just got a 15-day-old newborn, a program happens to be through life insurance, since you mentioned. I'll bring it up.
All right, excellent.
But it's an opportunity for her to start establishing her college funding.
Sure.
And so what is the right age? To me, really, the earliest the better. But I also want to come back to a comment here at the table, because, 12th grade, it's not the ideal time, right? But if you wake up at 12th grade and finally said and decided, you know what, I need to do this, it's never too late, is my point. The idea is that they are matched with a coach that's going to help them accelerate what they have missed. So the earliest the better, but it's never too late. We also have even programs for those who are looking for grad school, for example, and anyone who is even in college to start with.
I see. So there's more opportunity. And I guess at a certain level, Mo, this is more than just a college planning. It's also a life skill as far as understanding your finances, understanding how to save, how to invest, how to create opportunities, because none of us walk into life knowing all the answers. And so I suppose it also falls under the header of it's always a good idea to learn something new every day anyway. And if it's your financial future, stability, retirement, all these other things I would imagine fall into it. So as you were mentioning, a $200,000 college debt, that is going to impact retirement. That impacts your earning capacity.
Yeah.
And I imagine that there are many people out there who are going to earn those hundreds of thousands of dollars, but for every one of those, there's so many more with college debt. You hear it on the politics, you hear it with the, just on the news and with folks who are in this crisis situation of their own making, but it's as they were trying to reach the American dream and grab the apple and make sure that they had that education. So it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think students aren't taught financial literacy anymore, so this is something that they really should learn.
So good. So I'm going to ask Michael a question.
Yes.
While Dr. Maya puts her microphone back on. So, with this and where you're at, do you feel that the HIFA has given you some interesting information, some plans, some direction as far as how to plan with your 12-year-old daughter for that big bill that's going to come 5-6 years from now?
Absolutely, Bob. That she's actually entered 7th grade now, and I have mentioned to Dr. Lodi about the program because I can't wait to put her into that. Now, this is a message for parents out there. I'm the guy who bringing the bacon home, and right, I bring you back to a normal life, and you walk into the house,
we
right?
Work,
you see your
we
daughter.
work, we save, we spend, we have expenses. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, and then the first thing that your wife will ask her, how's everything going today, right? And then how does the homework and so on and on. For mom out there, could focus on the kids. In my family, it's different because my wife actually speaks English as a second language and she doesn't know much about it. So she asked, how was her school, how was the homework going, what she's thinking, right? How do I get into a teenage mind?
Which is always interesting in the first place.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
To be honest, I want to get her phone and want to see what's going on the phone. It's take her right back, right? I don't even know the password get into it.
I don't know anything
Seriously.
about it.
Michael, I can speak to that. When
I thought you had the perfect daughter.
No, I had 2 daughters.
I know.
And my youngest daughter was going to high school, and it was very popular in the 80s for every student to have a coach, and especially if they had the good grades, the great grades. So I got her a coach, and it was the best thing I ever did. And she listened to the coach. She didn't want to listen to me. I was a guidance counselor at that time, and she didn't want to listen to me. So Michael, there is hope. Every student deserves a coach. Every family, every parent deserves a coach. It takes a lot of pressure off, and they cover everything. They help you with the FAFSA. They help you with the college selection, assessment tests to assess what your student is capable of.
And that's really interesting, Michelle. I'm glad you brought that up. And by the way, we're of course speaking with a host of people from HIFA, the college planning for your financial. The Heartland Institute of Financial Education, and Michelle Gustafson is our local leader on that. You can reach out to Michelle, find out more, get yourself scheduled for one of the seminars. You can reach her at 508-930-8881, or you can reach her by email at gfree7676@gmail.com. Now, they run these seminars every month, and there's a local one, and then there's one in Boston. So I'm going to share that information now on every last Thursday of the month. So if you look at your calendar, you can find the last Thursday. It's going to be, and you can help me out with this, it's at Wood Stuff and Rugs.
Yes.
Okay, and they're located at 674 Washington Street in Norwood.
Right.
So it's easily accessible. And then Dr. Maya, you're the presenter?
I am.
Okay,
And,
fantastic. So this is a program that you're the leader, and we learn from you, and you share
that is correct.
and teach, and we hopefully learn.
Correct.
And follow.
You will.
And apply it, right?
And apply it, absolutely.
That is correct. We have several workshops, as I mentioned. The ones that you just called out are the one at Harvard is every second Saturday of the month
Okay.
from 1 to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And it's usually at the Harvard Science Center. And that's 1 Oxford Street, right there at the square. And we do have lots of fun because we invite both parents and the child, right?
Oh,
and
really?
So students,
okay.
yes.
All right.
So students get to interact and learn some of the, obviously for you to find a solution, you need to know what's going on. So they get to learn some pointers as to why they need to be, that needs to be a family affair, right? We also have the Quincy Learning Center, which we provide through our national campaign
Really?
for financial literacy. We provide several workshops. And we have, for example, you mentioned that, a retirement or debt management, a retirement workshop, the debt management, cash flow. And all of those workshops are provided for free.
Really?
And for free, and
Fantastic.
we're all both certified and licensed to provide this kind of education. And so the entire team here takes leadership on doing some of the teaching, but I do do a lot of the leading in terms of the major workshops. But we're having a lot of fun in terms of interacting both with the teenagers. And Michelle specializes too in finances for even grade school, right? So we have a little bit of everything. The idea is that families take advantage of these free workshops because they're out there. And so if you don't get educated on the subject, it's going to be a never-ending cycle.
Well, how interesting. And Michelle, you've been a friend of Foxborough Cable Access
Right.
here in town. You've done programs here
Right.
to talk about financial health, and those are always, you can still find them online at fcatv.org. Shameless plug for our website. And also credit to Deb Wendell and others for putting all of our archives back online. So you can find these programs. And part of that is a commitment to education, but you come from that educational background. So is that how this program became attractive to you? How did you become involved?
Yeah, I was involved with Win the Money Game, and I did that here, right at the studio, with children, say, 4th grade and
Yes.
up. And
I remember the set of being up
when
here.
I just happened to meet Michael Wong through having my nails done
Okay.
at his brother's shop. And his wife, I kept saying, your children should come and try our game, our money game. And she said, you should talk to Michael. He's connected with Harvard. And I said, oh, financial literacy, it's finally come here. Because it was out in California for 10 years. And I was waiting for it to come into the schools. And this pin is very special to me because it means we want to educate 1 million families by the year 2020. And I think we're up to over 750,000.
Oh, that's
Can
great.
you correct me on that?
I can't precisely if you remember the numbers, but it is a very exciting goal. And for us, the idea is to invite everybody to become a crusader, because this campaign means so much to each and every one of us here. Has a story that is either a financial success or is a financial crisis, right? And how we came out of that, or how we prevail. And the only way is by knowing what those situations are, so that we can find that level of, I would say, how to apply this theory in a very simplistic way.
Okay.
So it's exciting.
And I like the way that you're breaking it down for us, so that way we understand what it is that we're actually going to get into. So, Mo, I'm going to ask you. So, if I come to a seminar, what's the first thing that's going to hit me? You're going to say, "Give me $10,000 and I need your mother's maiden name." What am I really going to see when I come? Is it
Exactly.
how? Because we talk about fun, but finances are very. I worked at a bank for many years. I know finances are not normally fun.
Right.
So
maybe you worked at the wrong bank.
well, since I no longer work there, maybe I did. So tell me, what happens?
Yeah, so very good question. So one of the first things that we always promote with families is education first, right? Because we believe that educating your children, educating yourself, that's one of the best investments that you can put into your future and into your family's future, right? So right from when they walk into the door, we're starting that education. And it's not just getting the knowledge, but exactly how to apply it. And that's why workbooks just like this one, and every workshop that we have and every workshop that we host uses these kinds of interactive workbooks to make it palpable for the families. So as soon as you're in that workshop, you're getting tips and tricks on exactly what to do today. Sometimes what you should have done yesterday, right? But like Dolly was saying, right, the best time to start is today, because that's all you can control. And so we give them a lot of this information and break it down step by step, kind of guiding them through the ABCs of the entire program, depending on what workshop they're attending, right? As well as how, what to do afterwards as well. So guiding them from where they are now, and if it's college planning, we guide them to how to get into the right school, how to pick the right major, how to study for the SATs and the ACTs, right? The application process like Michelle was talking about, how to apply for financial aid, which kinds of financial aid you want to apply for, right? So there's a lot of different things that we're able to introduce them to, but give them actionable steps.
Wow. Okay, great. I like a seminar that gives me something that I can actually, go step by step.
Exactly.
Eating the elephant.
Yeah, right. One bite at a time.
One bite. So we are so close to being out of time, and of course, Dr. Maya, I'm going to give you the last word, as I'm also you, Michelle. But Darwin, you drove a long way to be here, and I'm fascinated. This is a national organization. This is a nonprofit organization. But how do you drive such a long distance to be with us here? And we love the fact that you're here. So this must mean you're passionate about it, or you're gaining a lot from it. So just tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I honestly just met Dolly, and she's actually been a great help in my life. So financial literacy is something that I believe everyone should learn. My sister didn't, I didn't know myself, my brother didn't either. So at the end of the day, there's too many students that owe a ton of college debt who don't know how to pay it. So it's something that we should all care about.
So you're here paying it forward.
Yeah, trying.
Great. Well, that's wonderful. It's a wonderful message, and clearly you have some people who are committed to the cause, considering that you drove so far, and that we're all here today to share on cable access. So again, if you're interested in getting involved and learning about HIFE, the HIFE, which stands for Heartland Institute of Financial Education, you should go to one of their seminars, and to find out where the next seminar is going to be, although I'm telling you it's going to be in Norwood at the Wood Stuff and Rugs on the last Thursday of every month, or you can go to the Harvard College and go to the second Saturday? Second Saturday in the afternoon, and Dr. Maya will be there as well. If you want to get signed up, contact Michelle Gustafson. She's our local contact here in Foxborough and surrounding, and you can reach out to her at 508-930-8881, or you can email her at gfree7676, GFREE7676 at gmail.com. Michelle, I'm going to ask you for the last word before I give the real last word to Dr. Maya.
Well, the tagline I love is every student deserves a coach. Every parent, every family deserves a coach. It's very important.
All right, Coach, bring it home.
Well, first of all, once again, thank you so much for providing this platform. It's such a noble cause, and I'm always very excited to see people of all walks of life providing this kind of services, all of us, a successful young entrepreneur like Darwin, who's dedicating his life now to help other families understand what this is, a teacher, former teacher, and a lead financial analyst, as well as an entrepreneur and also a corporate employee. Now all of us are united by one single cause. And so my idea is inviting everybody that is interested in helping with the cause to come over, see what we have, and be able to help us change lives so that we can effectively reach our goal of educating 1 million families financially by 2020.
Fantastic. Heartland Institute of Financial Education, I hope you take it seriously and understand that they're here to help you. It's a nonprofit organization looking out to educate you so that you can make for a better life for you and your children. On behalf of Darwin, Michelle, Dolly, Mo, and Michael, I'm Bob Hickey, your host, thanking you for taking the time to learn about HIFA and all that it can bring for you. Hope you have a great day. Take care.